Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I've got a legendary coach, Paul Sanford, in the house. 22-year vet, got a lot of leadership under his belt, but spending a lot of his time right now with your clients, making sure that they are findable with AI search. So I would love to unpack that today. So if you're watching this show or you're listening to this show, Paul goes really deep, very detailed, and we were just chatting sort of off camera. If you're in a position where today you are either ascending in your business and you're like, man, I really want to show up, but Tom, I haven't done a lot to show up, he's got a solution for you. And if you are already a rock star agent and you're like, you rank high on Google and you got this great brand, but all of a sudden you're noticing that you're not showing up the way you'd like in terms of AI search, which by the way, I don't know if you saw, Paul, 82% of consumers are now using an AI solution, whether it's Gemini, whether they know it or not, to now find their real estate professional or find their house. So, Paul, I'm really excited you're on the show. So maybe just give me a little background on the coaching side, because I just obviously disclosed some of the military side, but you were also a computer programmer?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. And thanks for having me on the show.
Of course.
So, I got my undergrad in computer programming. I actually worked as a programmer for years and years before I got into project management, and then went to the dark side, got into consulting, and did a lot of government, even international consulting, which was actually very cool.
Yeah.
All this before I got into real estate, which is actually a lot more fun.
Yes. How did you get 22 years of military, computer programmer, then you're consulting, aka the dark side, so we should probably unpack that, but maybe not. And then you went into real estate. What was like third career?
Yeah, pretty much.
Why? Why'd you go into the business?
Well, I got into the business because I found myself as a single parent with custody of my kids.
Yeah.
And when you're a consultant, what typically happens is your first 40 hours a week is for your clients, and then the second 40 hours a week is for business development.
Minimum, yeah.
And it's not really conducive for raising kids.
Yeah.
So I
So
walked away from all that and decided to get into real estate.
So you thought somehow real estate would be less time?
Well, actually, yeah. I had I known. So I actually got into real estate, and I actually thought to myself, and I wonder if this connects with anybody, because how hard could it be?
Okay, I got to ask really fast. In the comments, do me a favor. Will you please let me know when you first got into the business, whether it's mortgage, real estate, title, you started your own company, tech, whatever it is, did you think you would work less, right? Did you think you would have more free time? Please put it in the comments. So you got into the business.
Absolutely.
Right? Did you crush it?
Well, my first year, I sold 25 homes.
That would, by everybody's stretch, that would be absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I woke up every day thinking I was unemployed.
Yes.
I woke up every day with my kids looking at me saying, feed me.
We would like food.
They
Yes.
like food. And you know what was really nuts is that, they actually wanted to eat more than once a day.
Yes.
And so this was very motivating for
Yes.
me. And I know we talk about niching down for markets and what have you, but at that point, I was, you want me to drive somewhere? I'll drive anywhere
anytime,
to close
anywhere.
a deal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was what was important to me at the time.
Yeah. I know you've heard me say from the stage before, and for the record, when I say this to you, don't think that I'm telling you you need to do this in order to, but I say if you show me a single parent, right, preferably a single woman who's raised her husband, maybe two, now she's just on her own and has to go make it happen, I'll show you the next number one agent on the planet.
There you go.
Right? Like that real, like you have to do it
They're
no
hungry.
matter what. And most people just don't do it because like they have a fallback, right? Like, I can always go live back with my parents. Well, you're 40, not a good idea, but people have that fallback so they don't take action.
Actually, when I was in consulting, I would hire people that had a mortgage that was too big and their kids were in travel sports.
Yes.
Those are the people
yes.
looking for their bonuses. Those are the people that worked.
Must
they
close
were
deals.
hungry.
Exactly. All right. So they get a little context for you. You have really taken to heart, as myself and Jason Pantana and so many of other business coaches have really taken this hard. Like, I have to position my clients. We were talking about it off camera. Like two of my clients, if you're searching for the best agent in Beverly Hills who sold the most houses, I've got number 2 and number 4 on the list, and we both, we all said, hey, we're going to become number 1, and we know exactly what we have to do. And we're going to unpack that today.
Wonderful.
But why don't we start first with, let's talk about the agent that maybe doesn't have the track record. And if we had to just give them a really simple hack, and I know the one I'm going to share, but I'm really curious what you're going to share. What does that person have to do to immediately be found in AI search? Again, 82% of consumers now using some form of an AI tool, right, to find their agent and to find the house. What do they do?
So the number one thing I would say right now would be to start blogging on your website. That would be the number one thing. At the same time, there's other things that I would back into that, and that's getting into what's called identity syncing. Now, that sounds like a fancy word, but all it is, take your name, address, and phone number.
Yeah.
And put that everywhere, exactly identical on every single platform across the internet.
Okay, I'm literally looking at a list, so I'm gonna unpack this for the person that doesn't know, and I hope I didn't just kill my microphone, Brian, as I'm moving around here. So I'm just gonna say them really fast. So you ready? That means at a minimum, Fast Expert, Rate My Agents, Effective Agents, Bing Places, right? ChatGPT, got a little investment from those guys. Birdeye.ai, Yelp, especially if you're top 10. Angie, as in Angie's List, your Google business page, Real Trends if you show up on that list, Medium and Substack, two major blogging platforms, your MLS profile, your website, of course, your company website, like your company, the brokerage you work for, having it done right there, all three meta platforms, YouTube, Pinterest, X.AI, LinkedIn, Quora, Zillow, Realtor, Homes, Redfin, Nextdoor, and HomeLight, just to name a few. But the most important thing you're telling that new agent and experienced agent is name, address, phone number has to be identical.
Has to be. Now, it's actually always needed to be that way, but we've been able to get away with it. Yeah. The world has changed, and we were able to develop our digital presence in silos. Yeah. So we were able to develop a website, and it had a name, and then we would develop a YouTube page that had a different name, and then, oh, by the way, our Google business page had some other name. Yeah. Everything was inconsistent. Sometimes we'd use a middle initial. Sometimes we'd use our nickname. And that we were able to get away with it, but that no longer is going to work for us because we talk about the machines. And when I say the machines, I mean, Google searching or ChatGPT or the other large language models. The machines, they need to find you, and they're going to look at you across your entire digital presence as one entity, which means if you're just trying to do something in YouTube, you have to do the other elements as well to reinforce what you're doing with YouTube.
Let me add to that. All of the large language models are extremely lazy. They're lazy. You know this because you can go in and say, "Hey, tell me, 5 ways to do X." And it's going to give you the same vanilla answer it gives to everybody else. So we know smart people like you, myself, Paul, we're going to say, that's the lazy stuff. I want you to go deeper. I want you to be more nuanced. I want you to be more effective. I want you to act like the greatest copywriter on the planet. When you do that, it goes deeper. But again, the average consumer doesn't know that. So they say, hey, I'm looking for houses on the West Bank in Wilson, Wyoming, and I want to buy like a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, preferably with like a wood-burning fireplace. Like this is how people are like now searching for homes. Right. They're just talking fluidly and allowing the GPT to go find it for them. So you're saying you better have name, address, and phone number across everything. Inside of all their bios, should they also, for example, say, I have this many reviews? Even if they're a brand new agent, could they use their company's reviews?
Absolutely. And you can tie all this in together. This is what's kind of cool about it. Now, Google hates duplication. Yeah. So as we fill this out, and we need to fill out lifestyle information about it too, talk about our hobbies so that people can relate to us. All are, for those that have a lot of reviews, take your reviews, all of them, and aggregate them and put them there. Take some of your client reviews, not identically, but bring in those client reviews to give justification for what you do.
Put them where?
Put them in the bio.
In your bio.
In the bio.
I'm going to actually I'm going to add reviews, or I'm going to say I have 394 reviews on Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Zillow, whoever else. I'm just going to write that into the bio.
Well, not identically. Remember, Google hates duplication. So what we'll do is we'll take a piece or a part and say, so-and-so with a transaction wherever had this to say. And we'll bring in some of those of where we want to talk about.
So like keyword sound bites added into my blog. Interesting. Okay, so that's one thing. We started this by saying if I was a brand new agent, or hey, I'm just coming back in the game and it's been a while and I feel like I sort of missed the boat on this AI thing, and now I realize this is not a fad. Like, this is the way it is now, and I know I've got to get it right, and I've kind of missed it all. Brand new or kind of fading winter coming back. You said blogging. So most of the people listening are like, I don't want to write. I'm not a good writer.
No, I get
like
that.
So give me like the 3 easy things I can do to begin blogging before we go to where should we place them all.
Sure. So easy things that you can do. Think about what people, there's tools to help you with this, but just off the top of your head, what do people search for? We're going to use what's, natural speaking language. Write that question, but write it into your ChatGPT or Perplexity, your favorite large language model, and say, answer this question about this market. And that is going to simply take it and run with it, and you can almost copy and paste it directly into your blog page.
Yep.
I do recommend that you have every blog on its own page. That's a technical aspect that you want to incorporate, and we can talk about why later.
So I would take it one step further. Friend Neil Patel bought a company that I've been endorsing forever, and I wish he would pay me, but it's the best solution. It's called answerthepublic.com. If you type in the words real estate, you will get about 2,700 unique questions that could be answered. And without giving up my guy who just told me he did this, what if I told you a friend of mine who was with me in a mastermind recently, he basically took like 500 questions for the part of the country that he lives in and all things real estate keywords, and basically went into Perplexity and said, write me a 300 to 500 word blog answering the question of each one of these and make me essentially the star or the most knowledgeable person in this marketplace in all these blogs. And he did all 500, because, it will just do all 500 for you. And I'm not recommending this. He literally said to me, he goes, I did this 30 days ago. He said, you talked about it. I took the action. I posted all 500 blogs on my website all at once. And he now ranks number 2 in one of the most competitive markets in his country.
Now think about that. Anybody at any level in their profession.
You could be getting your real estate license and do that.
Right. You'd be in the process of doing it. Right. Or just as soon as you get your license, do that. And all of a sudden you're number 2.
Right.
Isn't that, so what you're doing, it's called imprinting. You're imprinting on the large language models.
Yes.
You're teaching it.
You're making it easy for them.
That's
You're
right.
making it easy for them because these blogs have been written and you're the star.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and they also like snippets. And they want to populate People Also Ask, or what's called PAAs.
Yeah.
So we want to add 2 things to this. We want to add what's called long tail questions and answers to pretty much every page on your website. And what I mean by long tail questions, it's how you would write naturally, how you would ask the question naturally. Don't think in keywords.
No.
How would you write out this question? And again, Answer the Public, you can work through that. Answer the Public is awesome because it's going to list all the questions that people are already asking in Google.
Right. So let's switch gears to the crafty veteran who's listening. Like, okay, like I could do that, but I might be a little concerned that my brand, if add those 500 blogs. By the way, this is the number one question that I get all the time. Oh my God, if I had 4 or 5 blogs a day, Tom, like you recommend, I think my clients are going to be overwhelmed. And I literally look at them and I go, your clients will never read your blog. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. You're only blogging for AI and search.
Right.
So don't as soon as I say it, people go, oh, and I go, but that doesn't let you, in my mind, off the hook. Like I'm not going to say my client's name, but who added the 500 blogs all at once. Because I say you should let the AI write the blog, and then you should read and edit the blog.
Yes.
To make sure that there's anything you want to tweak or adjust, because it is your work and it will be there. Like I say, if you don't want it on the front cover of the New York Times tomorrow, right? Saying the wrong thing, keywords real estate, should all real estate agents die and go to hell? Like that could be one of the questions. I don't know, right? And if it was, and your blog wrote a really tasty, yes, they all should, and brought to you by you, that could be a bad thing. So I say, let it do it and then edit it.
Right.
But what would you say to the veteran who's like, okay, all right, I'm going to start doing that. What do I need to do? What if I wanted to raise my price point?
Okay.
Could this help me do that?
Absolutely. Or go into a new market that you haven't been in. What about, hey, has a real estate agent ever moved from one state to another?
I could do this for referral fees also?
Yes. Oh, and we could set that up if you want to get into it.
Okay. Well, let's do raise my price point.
Okay.
And I want referral fees in sort of outlying markets that I want business from.
Sure. Well, remember, you have two audiences, and you alluded to this. You have two audiences: the humans, and you also have to write to the machines that we talked about as well.
Right.
So if you're going to imprint on the machines, you can teach the machines anything you want it to do. So if you want to go into this new market, start writing a lot of blogs about that real estate in that market and anything that you can think of, or go to Answer the Public about that new market, or maybe it's a new service that you provide. And you mentioned relocation.
Relocation. Keep going.
Relocation. What about this? You could actually kind of own a phrase such as moving to whatever your city is.
Right.
Or if you want to get even more specific, if you take a look at where people are moving from to come into your city, then own that phrase of moving from whatever city to your city. And what it's going to take is a lot of blogs to reinforce that.
What's a lot?
Well, it's
5.
Well, that starts because right now, well, okay,
2?
here's the answer.
Yeah.
It's if you're the only one doing it, maybe one. Okay. But more and more people are going to do this. So you're going to have to write more content, but you're also going to have to do reinforcement of that.
Okay. I'm going to say you don't have to write more content. You have to edit more content that the AI is writing for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it needs reinforcement. So the machines need to trust you.
Are you going to do this? I need to know in the comments. Are you going to do your bios, right? Name, address, phone, across all, adding reviews. Are you going to do it? Yes or no? And then I want to know if you've already started a blog. Tell us that in the comments as well. And if there's some insights or lessons you've learned from that experience, please share them here for everybody else that's going to be, reading this, wherever you're watching this.
Yeah.
So I can go after high end. I can go after relocation.
Any market, any service.
What's your take on adding most recent data from the MLS? Let's say I want to go after the luxury real estate market. Could I write a blog called Top 10 Transactions in City for the month of X?
Absolutely.
And if I did that blog repeatedly, all of a sudden when people start looking for who are the top 10, they're going to repeatedly come back to my blog,
right,
on my website, or on my Google business page, or my LinkedIn profile, et cetera, et cetera. What else should they be thinking about?
Well, like I said, the reinforcement of this. It's great to write the blog, but what if somebody else kind of writes the same blog? I mean, we're talking about it, and it's not going to be out of this realm of possibility that 2 or 5 agents write effectively the same blog.
Yeah.
So we need to strengthen this. We need to reinforce this. So once you write the blog, go to one of your other platforms that you own and control, such as your Google Business Profile or LinkedIn, and you rewrite at least a part of your blog and then say something to the effect of, in a plain anchor tag, to read the full blog, click here.
Yeah.
Now you're providing links, backlinks to specifically your blog. You're reinforcing it. Do it on all the sites that you control.
They don't understand what backlinks are, but don't you just mean like it's a click from this blog to that blog?
Pretty much.
Just to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to copy a part of it here on your Facebook page as an example. Click here to read the balance. Now they're on your website, but also your website to Medium, right? Or to Substack.
Well, Medium
to Quora.
Medium and Substack to your blog.
Even better.
But you want to wait 4 days. And the
Yes.
reason why you want to wait at least 4 days before you post on Medium and Substack is something called domain authority.
Yes.
Medium and Substack have been around and have been publishing content probably longer than you have,
Yes.
and they're going to rank higher. What you don't want is the blog that you write on Medium and Substack to have that domain authority and get ranked higher than what's on your website. Allow time for your blog to
How much
get
time?
indexed and ranked.
How much time?
4 days.
Okay.
And then you can have the Medium and Substack with link backs to your blog.
All right, Coach. We've been teaching this strategy now for about 18 months. And what's interesting now is as I go from like the next year back to some of the same cities, I'm getting more and more of this. Stop talking about this. I'm killing. In my mastermind a couple of days ago, 35 people. Like, how many of you have already done a transaction this year from AI? And like half the hands go up.
Yeah.
Right. One of them's like, I've done 3 deals already this year. And I'm like, oh, what was your CAC? What was your cost to acquire a client? They're like, 0. I'm like, no, that's not true. And this is why I'm bringing it up. Someone right now, and it happens in every room I go to, someone goes, oh my God, Tom, I'm busy selling houses. I'm raising, my spouse. I'm raising my kids. Like, I'm single. I got dogs. I got a life. And now you're telling me, oh my God, I got a blog. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, you got to get the questions that people are asking, answerthepublic.com or another way, and then put it into, Perplexity and say, write me a bunch of great blogs, making me the star, maybe add in, some MLS data to spice it up and give you even more data. And then I want you to post them. And then I watch these people just say to me, you don't understand, like I have 1,000 things to do. And where does this fit? I'm now making this in my mind. And I want to know how you're doing it with your clients. I'm telling my clients, it's your database first and it's AI search second. And then it's everything else. Your geographic farm, your open houses, your direct mail, your, neighborhood, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's got to be number 2 on your list. What do you say to the person that like doesn't have the time, can't find the time, having a hard time prioritizing it? What do you do with your clients when they're like that?
Well, the first thing we talk about is make your calls. That does not go away.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
make your calls. Yes. And we talk about this. If you want to work on this project, great. Do it after you've made your calls for the day.
Yeah.
That's number 1. A lot of what we talk about is, are you doing your own transaction to close? If you're outsourcing that, you should probably consider outsourcing this as well.
Thank
if
you.
you don't have the time and you have the funds available, that would be something you would want to do. Once you know the process, once you have the SOP, because it's incredibly repeatable.
Right.
It's incredibly easy to document this. Hand this over to somebody, whether it's local, whether it's overseas, and they are going to be able to follow the process. I will say, we've run into a couple situations. You're going to need to kind of spot check this, because even though we've spelled out the process, sometimes there's mistakes and you have to go back and it's like, oh, well, I thought, well, okay, let's clean it up.
So you and I are on the same page around outsourcing it. The thing I would tell my friend listening is, I think if you went on Facebook or Instagram or wherever all your friends are from maybe it could be next door, I don't know, and you literally said, hey, my business is expanding. And one of the things we're expanding on is we're going back to our grassroots of blogging. If you or someone needs some part-time work, I'm looking for someone who's, a decent writer, good at reading, who could do some edits and use AI to do this for me. If you know somebody, put it in the comments.
Right.
You'll be shocked how many people go, oh my God, well, my daughter's 15 and she's telling me everything about Perplexity and Claude and ChatGPT and, she might be interested. The other one is there's going to be a university or a college or a JC near every person listening. And what I say is, what if you just went up and you went to like the new AI course, because there's definitely one there, or maybe you went to like the, I don't know, English majors, and you said, who would like to make, I'm just making up a number, $500 a month to build and use AI to crush a bunch of, blogs. I would, if I was in a seminar, I'd say beer money, and everybody laughs.
Easy.
And the truth is, this is one of those things that if you don't do it, you're gonna look back in like 4 months and go, oh no, I missed it. In a year, you'll be like, okay, how in the world do I solve this? Because now like my best clients are now all going to other people and they're telling me, hey, I'm trying to sell my home and you don't even show up.
Right.
And think about that on the sell side. Buyers will work with anybody. Just open the door for me. Sellers, very finicky. 6% of all the listings sold in the first 6 months of this year. 60% of all the listings sold done by 6% of the agents. Sellers are looking for you online. And if you're not there, you're going to be in trouble.
Right.
So I say college, friends, any other insight on them? Just make sure they get it done.
Pretty much just make sure it gets done. I have people using VAs to do it. I have people using their friends to do it. Bottom line, it needs to get done. This needs to be a part. We're in the middle. It's October. We're in the middle of doing business planning, and we're incorporating this into our business plans for next year. And if it's something that if you're not doing it, we talk about AI is not going to replace us, but that AI-enabled agent absolutely will, and they do not need to have a track record. They don't need to have sold a single home ever.
So tell us in the comments what you're committed to. Paul, I got one last question for you, and it could be spicy. We just talked about it Monday on the Growth Mode podcast. I don't know when it's coming out. But Jason and Jimmy were like, okay, we have all these things we want to discuss. I'm like, I don't want to discuss any of that. The only thing I want to talk about is if you're in the U.S. and you're on Follow Up Boss, Zillow's new terms of service now state, you can Google this, now state, yes, we know that 2 years ago when we bought Follow Up Boss, that the terms of service were whatever your leads are, your leads. They now state, oh, no. Your customers are your customers unless they have registered on Zillow. How many humans that own a house or want to own a house in the United States have not registered themselves on Zillow?
Absolutely.
So what are you advising your clients to do now that are on Follow Up Boss?
Well, I've got several clients on Follow Up Boss, and the answer is it's a decision that they're going to have to make, but think about it. Do you really think you have more information about your clients than Zillow? They have all the data. They have all the numbers. They have other data that you wished you dreamed that you could have. Yes, you have the personal relationship, but that's how you're going to win.
But can you have a personal relationship with 2,800 people in your database?
Well, no,
I think they have it with like 92.
Yeah, sure. Or we talk about 150, having that 150 of what you should have. Absolutely.
What do you mean 150? What is that?
So we talk about how
the science of like how many people you can actually have like a
right, and then everybody knows
with?
150 people, and you expand upon that. But sure, so it's 100. The number we use is 150.
I say this to someone who was a captain, lieutenant. Right, I'm a wartime general. I like a dogfight. And when my clients, oh my God, I'm like, first of all, panicking is stupid, right? And by the way, Zillow's had most of your data anyway because everybody uses the site, right? Like Checkmate, like they've done that. Now they're just going to take it one step further. I actually think the only reason they really want to do it is mortgages because they make 4x on a mortgage that they do on a real estate transaction. And Zillow Home Loans is something they're pushing aggressively. And of course, with Rocket acquiring Redfin and Mr. Cooper, they're looking at the entire life cycle. Everybody's focused on this multi-trillion-dollar industry, and I can't get you to call your past clients in Sphere. Like I said with love. So the most important thing I'm telling people is, hey, you're looking for a reason to double down on how many emails you send to nurture, how many text messages you send, how many events you throw, how many calls you make. Like if you have 2,800 people inside your phone, you need to call all 2,800 between now and the end of the year and go, hey, Paul, you're in my phone under Paul Dog Park. What dog park did we meet at?
Right.
You need to go deep. Otherwise, just understand the data shows. So I have a client, and I'm not going to say his name. Oh, God, he'd punch me. But I'm coaching his entire team right now. In the first 9 months of the year, so be a coach, ready for this? 518 people looked at a house with one of his agents, signed a single party show agreement to go look at a house, and then bought a home from someone else.
Ouch.
518 commission checks came through their door, signed a single party show agreement, showed them a house or two, whatever the agreement for that, that contract was, and then they bought a house from someone else. What would your advice be?
My advice would be change how you are interacting with that individual. Make sure you're making that connection. Talk about that agreement. rather than just a showing agreement, let's talk about what it means to get a buyer agency agreement and a true commitment behind that. You need to go beyond that. You need to do the, dare I say, follow-up with that. We talk about agents struggle in two areas, and that's consistency and follow-up. You solve those two, you're going to make a lot of money. And here's a perfect example of that.
518.
Average
sales price about $450,000.
That's, and we talk about a $10,000 mistake, and that's a $10,000 mistake times 500
and 18.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
But even with Zillow, when you're going talk about Zillow having data about your clients, Zillow's doing a lot of things. Zillow's in a lot of places. We probably should think about going where Zillow is not. Yes. What is Zillow not blogging about?
Unpack that.
That's where your blog should be, because they're not blogging about a whole lot. You need to go where they're not, and you can absolutely compete with that.
They're not blogging about your specific neighborhoods you want to dominate. They're not blogging about recent sales on streets that you want to dominate on, right? Like I say, go super high.
Absolutely.
But like the coffee shops, like the sale that happened near this coffee shop. Like literally talking with a buddy of mine, like he bought a house on the West Bank, so that's why I use that example. He's 60 years old. He's not super techie, but he's been around me long enough, and he watches me only talk to Perplexity all the time. And he was like, I'm looking for a house on the West Bank, and I want it to be near this coffee bar called Persephone that's near the golf course I want to join called Teton Pines. And he's doing this, and it's like, here, and here's the house. Matter of fact, this is across the street from Persephone. But if you want to live on that side of the street, here's another house. And it was like anchored around a coffee place.
Well, and what's interesting about that,
Yeah.
the only way that house gets shown up by a large language model is if you've put that into the description.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
we did a whole show on listing descriptions.
Right,
yes.
because what's interesting is the large language models, ChatGPT, okay, there's an exception. If you're using ChatGPT and the Zillow app within ChatGPT, it's different. Then you're in Zillow.
Yeah.
But if you're outside, if you're using ChatGPT and not using the app or any other large language model, they can't read what's called structured data. They can't read your listing and say bed, 3, bath, 2. It can't see it.
No.
It can't see the neighborhood coffee shop. That needs to be in your description.
Yeah.
All of it. Now, and I do know some MLSs, was talking with a client yesterday about this. And my client actually won a competitive listing because she talked about this. So in her market, the MLS only allows 750 characters. There's not a lot you can write about writing the entire contents of the listing in that description.
Yes.
Or talking about lifestyle in that description. Write what you can, but do you think you should be writing blogs about your listing?
1,000%.
And with your blog, and maybe multiple blogs about your listing.
With photos.
Absolutely.
Maybe a video or two, all inside the blog.
Well, and if you do post photos, you need to rename your photos. So the worst name you could have for a photo is image036.jpg. That means nothing. No. You have to assume...
living room of 1234 Banana Street.
Right. So actually rename your photos as if they are describing what's in the photo. So if it's a listing photo, put the address in, the room, some salient feature, have a very long file name description or file name for the description, and that's going to help you as well. Screen readers and machines need to see this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just not going to be ranked as high as some people that are doing it. These little steps will matter.
I love it. All right. So, Paul, as we wrap this up, people's brains are popping. What's the best way for them to connect with you if they're like, man, this guy speaks my level of nerdiness, or you know what? I don't understand anything he's talking about, but clearly he could help. Yeah. What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Best way would be jumping on LinkedIn. Sanford Paul, S-A-N as in Nancy, F-O-R-D Paul. Somebody already took Paul Sanford. And I've started to write some blogs out there. You'll see some of that out there. I've been writing a lot more blogs internally for my clients, but that's a great place to start. Please connect with me there, and happy to have these conversations, talk about some different strategies where this might fit for you.
I love it.
First thing, get started.
Yeah. Pick
But make
something.
your calls.
And
But
make your calls. We'll end with that. Make your calls. Hey, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. You might have a friend or two that needs to see this. I would encourage you to send it over to them and say, check this out. Or, hey, let's be accountability buddies and let's make our calls and let's blog and let's get our bios done so we win the AI search game. All right. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. We'll see you on the next one.